Welcome to another episode of the Added Time Video Guide series. In this episode we will show you how to set up event types on the system, event being the term we give to classes, lessons, conferences, camps, etc. So let's first take a look at exactly what is an event type. Meet Gary Greatcoach, coach and owner of Coaching Program Limited, our fictitious coaching company. Gary's work as a coach can be broken down as follows. Gary runs courses for all ages and abilities. The participants on the course need to be recorded and pay individually. Gary also needs to produce registers. He also runs holiday camps during all of the school holiday periods. Again, the participants on the camp need to be recorded. He also provides individual lessons where he's directly paid by the person taking the lesson. We call this person a client. Gary also supplies coaches to organisations such as schools for an agreed fee, and again these are treated just like lessons, charged to a single client. The types of work carried out by Gary are what we call event types. In Gary's case, we will want to create 4 event types on the system: course, camp, lesson and coach provision, and then tell the system which of these event types needs to record participant information and which is charged to a single client. So let's take a look at how to do this on the system. We display the event type details by clicking on the Settings menu and then selecting System Settings. Expand the Event section and click on the Type option. This displays the event types we have already set up on the system for our fictitious coaching company. As you can see, we have camp, course and private lesson. We're going to take a look at one of these to see how we have set it up. So we're going to choose course. On the Edit Event Type screen, you can see on the left-hand side of the page we have the description field. You can enter whatever description you want. Below this is the sort order, in which we control in what order the types are listed. On the right of the page, you tell the system what event information to display for this type. We would click on the Single Session Event checkbox to tell the system to prompt you for a single date and time when creating an event linked to this type. This would typically be ticked for an event type such as an individual lesson. You would click on the Record Participant Details checkbox to tell the system that an event linked to this type will display participant information, produce invoices and registers, etc. This would typically be ticked for an event type such as a course, as in this case. You would click on the Charge Event to Single Client checkbox to tell the system that an event linked to this type will be charged to a single contact we call a client. This would typically be ticked for an event type such as an individual lesson, or for where work is being carried out for an organisation who will then be invoiced. Once you have set up your event type, click on the Save button to store the details on the system. We're now going to create a 4th event type for our fictitious coaching company. Coaching Program Limited supplies coaches to local schools. They then invoice the school for the coach's time. We're therefore going to create an event type for this type of work and call it Coach Provision. To display the Add New Type page, click on the Add New button in the Page menu toolbar. We now enter our description, in this case, Coach Provision. On the right of the page, we're going to tick the Charge Event to Single Client checkbox, because we are going to invoice the schools for the coach provided. We leave the Record Participant Details checkbox unticked because we won't be recording this information for this event type. We now click on the Save button to save the details of our new event type. We can now see our new type in the list of event types. Let's now see how selecting a type displays the required information for an event. We're going to create a new event, so click on the Events menu button and then select Add New Event. On the Add New Event page, you can now see we need to select what type of event we are adding by selecting one of our types from the drop-down list. For example, selecting course will display course information, such as available places, because that's how we set the type up, i.e. to include participant details. If we select a different type, for example, private lesson, you will now see available places is no longer displayed because we set this type up not to have participant details. This private lesson event type does have charge client selected, so it prompts us for client details. And this type also has its single session event checkbox ticked, and so it prompts us for the session details. Details of how to add an event using this screen can be viewed in the Adding an Event episode of this video series. Thank you for listening to this episode, and we hope you found it useful. You can subscribe to our monthly newsletter full of tips and hints on how to get the best out of added time at www.intoaddedtime.com.